Welcome to the Institute of Jewish Knowledge and Learning. We are with Rabbi Akiva Mann, live from Jerusalem, teaching the soul. Take it away, Rabbi.
Teaching the soul. Okay, Chavra, I just feel compelled. I think we're three sessions into this. And I just want us, I think this is going to be a very, I hope, a very powerful message or definition about the soul, and how we navigate the journey towards our souls. So I just feel compelled that we ought to settle down. It's 12 o'clock in your locale, and I don't know whether you just came home from the grocery store or you just woke up. I don't know. But I just feel compelled that we gotta start off with a song that is a little going to get us into the reaches of our souls. So everyone just take a moment to do a little morning meditation, a little morning davening. So let's daven together for a sec. Okay, Chavra, now we can start. So, friends, we ended last week with the idea, and I think it's a very important idea to ponder, that it is quite illegitimate, although we get sucked into it, it's like it reminds me of like the 7 contradictions of Maimonides. You know, when he says, when he establishes one truth in one place in the Guide for the Perplexed, and then in another place kind of contradicts it, only because he's trying to qualify. He's trying to present a truth, but for those that can't wrap their minds around the truth, he compromises a little bit, and in another place doesn't present the absolute truth that he said somewhere else. When we speak of the soul, how we ended off last week, when we speak of the soul, and Chevra, I have received from last week's class so many beautiful comments from you over email and personal WhatsApp conversations. That was just magnificent to hear from you, those that are pondering and those that are seeking and searching and calling me up and clarifying refined points about what we are speaking about. So thank you for that response. When we speak about the soul, I am telling you one truth, that we get sucked into the idea that the soul is a noun. It's a thing. The soul, the heart, the lungs, the soul. And it isn't. We ended last week by saying the soul is a verb. It's something that is in action. So on one level, we're gonna use mixed language that I myself object to. We have a tendency to think of the soul in the capacity of how we think in organized constructs, and we have to liberate ourselves from thinking of the soul as that. The soul is an experience. It's more like an experience, or like tasting. God is a verb and the soul is a verb. And we have to wake ourselves up and discover in such a deep and personal manner. We have to discover for ourselves what we mean when we utter the word, when we utter the letter I. You know what the most common word, the most common usage of any word in the English language is I. I did this, I think this, I feel this, I. Gauge it for yourselves. Do some homework. How many times that one lettered word is used in our vocabulary? What do we mean when we say I? I, the doctor, I, the rabbi, I, the wife, I, the husband, I, the whatever. Say your name out loud. Or just say I. And conduct a little experiment. And say your name or say I, and then in a contemplative and meditative manner, strip yourself of all the titles and capacities that go together with that I or that name. Close your eyes right now and say I to yourself, or mention your own name, and then go into a contemplative exercise of tearing off all of your identifiable and social and even personal garments. Strip yourself of all of those and see and reveal to yourself what you are left with. I wish we could do this in person. Shabri, if you come to Israel with the group, we will.
That's an incentive, honey.
We will, because it's an important exercise, and to do it together is mamash is tantamount to standing on Mount Sinai, at the foot of Mount Sinai. Say I, say your name, and strip everything away. Your social status, even your personal status, maybe even your personal, not maybe, your personal history, and see what after the stripping off exercise, ask yourself, what am I left with? That is the process of discovering and meeting your essence. It's a long process and journey. It doesn't happen in one sitting, in one epiphany, because there's an infinite amount of angles that one has to strip away to come to the essence. You know, friends, there is such a large difference between the expression soul searching and searching for my soul. Soul searching, they're both very, very, very good words, very beautiful words. Soul searching, I was thinking, means that I am in the process. What does that imply? It implies I'm soul searching. I'm digging more deeply into myself. I'm sometimes operating on a surface level, but this and this circumstance or situation that I find myself in requires some soul searching. I'm digging deeper. And that's a very good thing. But there is a huge difference between that and searching for my soul. Searching for my soul means I am not I am not doing what I am doing because of a need or a circumstantial situation that I find myself in. Searching for my soul is a lifelong process of searching after everything is stripped away, what I am left with. That's a totally different enterprise, totally different. And if someone were to ask me, so Akiva, I recognize that, I'm aware of that, of that exercise of searching out my soul. My life's experience has brought me to that point where I am taka interested to view the essence of who I am. What do I do? What is the best guidance that can be offered? And I would have to answer that, and this is going to be what we're going to be focused on for today's lesson, is the first prerequisite of the journey that we have to take in search of our soul is letting go. And we're going to explain that. Letting go. Letting go implies that we are striving for such a pure awareness or a pure seeing of the clay versus the pot. And in order to enable ourselves to take our focus off of the color, the nature, the indentations, the scars, the scratches on the pot, and focusing our attention on all of that, and rather shifting our attention from the surface garment level of the pot and becoming aware of the clay, one has to release. There has to be a certain release of that focus, of that distraction. And that's what I mean by letting go. Who am I in my essence? might be the wrong question. Because who am I in my essence is implying a certain kind of identity. And identity, believe it or not, identity is a very weak word in Jewish mystical thought. Identity. Because the word identity in English, which comes from the Latin, the Latin word mean identity comes from the shoresh in Latin, the root word in Latin. Identity means the same as. And we are not searching for who I am the same as. I'm a rabbi, there are other rabbis. I'm a doctor, there are other. The identity always means that there is an identification with something or someone else. I am like that. That's what identity means, and it's an okay word, but it's in mystical language it's very weak. The better and deeper question is not who am I, but what am I? What am I? I remember years ago when I was teaching on Thursday nights at Jack and Jones, when we were coming across a piece of a fantastic seminal piece of Zohar, where the Zohar differentiated between the two very small words, me, mem yud, me is who, and ma, mem hey, which is what. And we were talking at that time about divinity. And the Zohar was quoting many verses like verses that you all know, Let's sing it together. Let's sing a me. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh, nohora tehilot osef eleh. Mi kamocha, when we speak of divinity, is who, mi kamocha, who is like you? Who is like you, Nedar B'Kodesh, who is robed in holiness? The Zohar says that's good, because what we are doing with Mi Kamocha is we are attempting to identify the Ein Sof, the Keter level of divinity, with something else that is identifiable, and we make a connection. We create a metaphor, so to speak, between between we create a comparison. And the Zohar says that is good and that is cute, but that's not the highest. Because that's not going to the essence. The higher question in our mind is not me, who, but ma, what. The ma is the higher. So friends, the word I is mamish a gewalt and is the key to the soul, is the GPS to the soul. And it's no coincidence, friends. Think about this for a moment. It is no coincidence that the first word, I'm a little bit in the Shavuot mode, that the first word in divine revelation of the 10 utterances is Anochi. I am. I am. And if that is the first word of the 10 commandments, the first word of divine revelation, if that's true about God, then it's also true about us. That our first word has to be a deep investigation of I am. The core of me. What is the I of me? We have to ask ourselves. The core of me, the I, that unbelievably was there when you were a child, when you were an infant, that will be there when you are 99 years old, that same I as an infant. And when you're 100 years old, that same I is going to be that same I. That core sense of who I or me is doesn't change. It's always there, consistently and shedding light, always remaining the clay, regardless of the shape or the color of your pot, regardless of your history. Your history and your biography, yes, it changes the color and the indentations and the scars of the pot. But the I of you remains the same when you were 1.5 years old and when you're 99 years old. What changes is the garment, is the color of the pot, but not the essence. So our journey to dig down deep into the core of what we mean by I is discovering your own cosmic consciousness, much larger than your own history, much larger than your own garments, much larger than your own biography. It transcends your own life. There's something there that we have to discover. And we keep on focusing on the color of the pot instead of searching out the essence of the clay. So to let go of some of those entrapments is the way to revealing our own souls to ourselves. That, my friends, that discovery is the soul in action, the soul as a verb. We will not get to the soul unless we exercise that mental, emotional, and spiritual activity. We will not get there. You will not know your soul. We will die not knowing our soul unless we are committed to that proactive journey. I'll take any comments or questions.
I have not seen hands up, but my question was a little bit, is it possible that our essence can be modified by our life experience, or that it just becomes more
Kim, absolutely. So I have two points to that question. The answer is absolutely. However, that our life experiences and all the stuff of life that are included in our bio and is on our emotional, spiritual record, in our hearts. Those are most definitely transformative variables that are going to affect us. But on one level or another, that is still on the mystical level, that is still included in the color of the pot.
Okay, thank you. Shabri and then Donna.
Good morning, everyone. So, Rabbi, thank you so much. Rabbi, we can get back to consciousness when Kim was just asking about the color of the pot. The pot is still consciousness, but the minute you put an essence, not an essence, but the minute you put a quality on that pot, it takes you away from the journey of discovery of just what that consciousness is.
Yeah,
I don't know if you can ever find out what that consciousness is unless you die.
No,
it's
no,
death.
Shabri, I don't know. I don't know whether in philosophical absolute terms, whether we will ever get to the mamish, to the core essence of our own souls. But Jewish mysticism is committed to the idea that we can get, we can and we must get deeper. So I don't know about the, I don't want to make a statement that there is a way, because I have my doubts about it myself, whether there is any way where in philosophical absolute terms we can get there. I believe that the Jewish masters of wisdom, I'm going to say maybe, I'm pretty sure that our great mystics and masters of wisdom did believe that going to the absolute, and you have to know what I mean philosophically by absolute means absolute.
I know.
Whether that is absolutely available to us, I think the Jewish mystics said maybe not, but that in no way made them desist. That the deeper we go, the closer we are to a kind of cosmic consciousness that lies within our souls, within our reach. So it doesn't desist from our journey just because we can't reach the ultimate. Just because I am never going to, quote unquote, see God, see divinity in its full splendor and essence, it doesn't mean that I do not attempt to draw closer to that. So I do agree that in absolute terms, I don't know. The consensus among the mystics that I have learned and absorbed from is probably not, that we cannot reach, because I still haven't found what I'm looking for, is going to be a song on all of our deathbeds.
Well, I don't know.
Okay, let's keep on going. Let's keep on going though, because we have Donna, Debbie, Bruce, and then Karen.
The journey itself is for me.
But the journey itself is a worthwhile mystical journey.
So Donna, Debbie, Bruce, and Karen.
Thank you, Kimmy. I wanted to, with permission, I would like to just share I don't even know what it's called in this moment. I'm sorry, Kim. Something that I was taught that might be helpful, and it's completely in the same line. In one of the programs called The Art of Living that I took, we would do what is the word I'm looking for? It's not a process, that's the word. A process where we would sit there kind of similar to what Rabbi Akiva was doing and ask ourselves, but first, who am I? And you do this over and over again, and you get all the, I'm a mother, I'm a woman, I'm a this, I'm a that. And then you keep peeling away. Once you identify who you think you are, then you end up getting to the point where you start asking, what am I? And you ask yourself over and over and over and over again until you peel back all of the layers to the realization, to the level that you're able to, realize what we are, which would be our soul consciousness, I think. And I think that as we walk through life, again, I talk about it a lot. For me, when I'm awake, I can remember that that is what I am. That is whom I want to speak through me. And when I'm asleep, I forget, and I'm a woman, a mother. I go right back. So I've always found that helpful, and I just wanted to share.
Great, thank you, Donna.
I have a question about the clay. The clay, because I definitely get the idea of the pot, the vessel. Am I looking, is the clay the essence part? Or is that, I know it's what holds together everything.
Yeah. The clay is the essence thing, and we mentioned it last week that it might not be an exact metaphor, but the clay is the symbol, the metaphor of the essence. And Debbie, remember the word that I attached it. I don't know whether it makes sense connecting Hebrew and English, but I did. I think it might be helpful if you remember that that clay in our metaphor, it is in Hebrew clay and kli. Kli is a vessel, which a vessel is a vessel. The essence of the vessel is actually not the clay, but the essence of the vessel is the empty space. So we're talking about something ethereal. Is like what is a teacup? A teacup is the teacup the clay around it, or is the essence of the teacup the clay that creates the vacuum, that creates space? So if you extend the metaphor like that, it might be a.
And thank you. Bruce, you're up.
Thank you. In our effort to pursue the soul, or in this case, my soul, I need to separate, identify, and extinguish the garments, the qualities, the characteristics, the color, etc., and move toward that which it isn't. That is something that, in effect, I can't identify by word, color, content, etc.
Exactly.
And that is the holy exploration.
That is the holy exploration, and that is actually your holy essence.
Thank you.
Holy homework. Take it away, Karen.
Well, I just wanted to share with you, this really brought me back to something that happened about in my life like 30 or 40 years ago. I was part of a guided meditation, and this brought it back to me. You're speaking today, and what I remember of it, and this was a very long time ago, that I was all alone in a field and there was nothing else, and I guess it's exciting to me to hear what you're saying, because what you talked about today, and I know what that was, is that my journey is has been to find out who I really am, and not what I do, and not how other people see me. And I think I'm just kind of trying to bring this
Beautiful.
all together for myself. So Thank you.
Beautiful. Karen, I like that addition of part of the colors of the pot is a major part of the color of the pot that distracts us is what you said, and it's Kadai to focus on it. Is it's not only my identity and my roles, my different roles in life, but it's also very important to detach ourselves from how other people view us. That very much becomes part of our identity, which can be a great distraction. It's like a lot of people live for how others are going to view me. Their whole life is about not about me, but it's about how others are going to view me, and they get into that trap, and they become prisoners of other people's perceptions. They become prisoners. They become jailed by and they live their lives on a total level of how others are viewing me, and never get a chance for true self-expression. So thank you for.
And I see Marilyn, I see your finger.
Okay,
I'm
Kim,
thinking-
after Marilyn, we're going to continue.
Okay.
Perfect.
I'm
Okay.
thinking of now how others view me, but how I view others. I have a neighbor with a husband who's dyslexic, whatever you call it, Alzheimer's. And the way she treats him, she's my hero, with respect, with love, dresses him, feeds him, everything. And her children have comfort knowing that she's caring for their father the way they would like to see it. So how I view her says, this is the kind of person I admire. If she were to go out and get a babysitter and go run to a movie or something, I wouldn't have the same respect. So I find out who I am by looking at how someone else is. And that's the world I want to live in, with people that I feel can teach me and make me a better person.
Great. There, yeah, beautiful. There is a transference of we learn from others who sometimes who we are and where our strivings should lie. We sometimes can certainly learn from external circumstances and of others. So, friends, another loose translation. I tried description. I tried to come up with a cumulative sense of what our souls are, and this is not the greatest, but I think it might touch a chord in you. When we talk about our souls, I might describe it as our. Again, I'm trying to stay away from nouns. Nouns are restrictive. Nouns create barriers. So I stay away from nouns, but I can describe the soul as our core capacity within us that is greater than the sum total of our parts. there is something within us, as I said before, that we are born with at the age of 6 months is going to be the same as, except for a little coloring, the same as we are going to be at 99, with a little biographical coloring and maybe dents and scars. But that core essence, our core capacities, that is greater than the sum total of all of our parts, greater than the sum total of all of our efforts, greater than the sum total of what we intellectually and emotionally have absorbed. That is the soul. And that is yearning within us. That is the fire burning within us. And we don't, especially I think, especially in modern days, where the colors and the distractions are so great, are so the multiplicity of external stimuli is so great that we don't normally recognize that higher sense of self, that higher, our own higher capacities. We don't recognize them. We don't. They are not self-evident in our conscious minds, because our minds are so full of particularities. We are so full of our own thoughts, even. Thought is a good thing, but we're so full of our own thoughts. And we are drawn into shtism. Kim knows this word. It's a Yiddish word. It took her around 6 months to get it to pronounce it properly. But it's a great word. We're so drawn into shtism. Shtism, the shtism of life. Shtism means trivialities, frivolities, externalities, things that don't really matter. We make them matter, but they really don't. We know that they don't even matter. I remember as a little boy, when I approached my father, and I said, "This is so important to me," and there was one word, shtism. I want to teach you something. It's not as important as you think. Politics today, 95% of it, shtism, nothing. nothingness, frivolous issues, not getting down to essence, anything that is distanced from essence in a huge way, distanced from essence, starts becoming slowly but surely shtissim. And we are drawn towards that. And that's why we are weak. We are weak in recognizing that higher sense of self, that higher essence that abides within, is because we are absolutely distracted by the shtissim around that surrounds our lives. Other Eastern religions call this Yiddish word, they have a beautiful equivalent to it. They call it the whirlpool of distraction. The whirlpool of distraction. Just think of your washer and dryer in your laundry room. I used to always be enamored by how fast the washer, when it was on the what cycle? What is it?
Spin.
Oh, that's it. The spin cycle. As a little kid, I used to open it up, but it used to it used to stop as soon as you opened up the lid. But I did open it up for a second, and you still saw the and it reminded me of the whirlpool of distraction. We are caught in this whirlpool where we start losing sight of the clay. We start losing sight of the self, because we're caught in the whirlpool of distraction. So we'll go back to where I started. Letting go as the first point of departure to getting to know our own souls. Letting go now is, I am qualifying. What does letting go mean? Let go, first and foremost, of the shtissim that are surrounding your lives. Let go of the whirlpool of distractions that are encompassing us like a surround sound. Let go of that. A proactive, conscious journey of realizing what are the whirlpool of distractions in my life? Where does the shtissim lie? And proactively, mamish, take out the garbage, take out the trash. Do not allow those elements to distract from discovering self. from meeting up with your essence, with your soul. Let your mind become still. Let your mind become still after releasing yourself from those distractions, from those garments that keep on piling and piling and piling, from those memories of yourself that just keep on creating like an armor around you, not disallowing the light of your true essence, of your soul, to shed its light upon you. There's another word for this letting go, for becoming still. And you all know these two words. This letting go and becoming still is no other than Shavat Vayinafash. Uvayom Hashvi'i, and on the seventh day, Shavat Vayinafash. Shavat means there was a divine pause. You can translate Shavat as Shabbos, but let's not do that. Let's disassociate. Let's talk about it on cosmic and mystical levels. Uvayom Hashvi'i, there was a point in the creation story, in the evolutionary story of the world, where the source energy of the world shavated, paused. Let's call from this point on Shabbat as not as a Sabbath, but as pause. Let the act of letting go of distractions, of shtissim, of the whirlpool, is countered by Shabbating, pausing, creating a pause, and then vayinafashing. Vayinafashing means Shavat is ceasing the whirlpool of the mind, and vayinafash is embracing or ensouling the soul, is union with the soul. Chevra, this is practical guidance that I'm attempting to convey. Ceasing the whirlpool of your mind, of the mind, creates a cessation, an end to our sense of separation, our sense of duality. In that pause, and the pause we are going to speak about. What do we do to accomplish this pause? But the whirlpool of the mind is only going to stop spinning at that speed when we start pausing. And when we start creating spaces of pause, we will, through those spaces of pause, start creating for ourselves a diminished sense of separation. Separation also means duality. Our separation, the barriers that ostensibly this world brings, the world of duality. It is going to be through pause that separation will vanish from our consciousnesses. That is going to be when we find our true sense of freedom. That's when freedom kicks in. When we are in a state of pause, when we have disciplined ourselves, and that we are not trapped in the whirlpool of distraction and the world of shtism, when we have created a boundary, we can view that. We can hardly not view that. But when we consciously and mentally and subconsciously, when we are able to divorce ourselves from that and find some pause, that is when the soul within us, that energy within us, is going to reveal itself to us. That's what one of my favorite songs, and the song that I have played for many years for you and with you. That's what King David is saying when the psalmist says, "Shuvi nafshi limnu chochi." Return, O my soul. King David and we are speaking to we're addressing our own souls and saying, Shuvi nafshi, return you, O my soul, limnu chochi, back to your resting place. Back to your resting place. That's when the true nature of self, of our souls, of our essence, of our clay, is revealed to us. When we are at our essential resting place. Resting place means without distraction, without the whirlpool. When we have made contact, contact with our own selves, our lower selves with our higher selves, our transcendent selves with our immanent selves. That is when we make contact. When we have worked very hard to go on the long journey of discovering our own soul's resting place. And each soul's resting place, you know, is different. But the prerequisites for that journey are the same. Are the same.
Rabbi Akiva, is now a good time, and it is 1:13.
Yes, and I know you have a hard end.
Joan, I see you lowered your hand. Are you satisfied? Thank you. Mike Selzer.
Okay, good. Good morning. Thank you.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Rabbi. Wow, you know, I get caught in between, you know, the poetry of listening to you and wanting to hear myself speak and ask a question. And I could just go on listening forever. So thank you. Let me just back up a little bit, going back to the soul being that greater capacity than anything, you know, beyond, you know, everything that we put ourselves together, and the soul is beyond that. And and then letting go. And what came to me was, it was kind of like letting go and falling into our soul. We let go of that
Beautiful
mind, all the thoughts in the mind, and we kind of fall into it. But there's really possibly the soul is pulling us in that direction, like a spiritual gravity, and we just have to let go and fall into it. Like the parachute opens up and we're just dropping at terminal velocity into the soul, into God.
Yeah, and Mike, let me add that you know, a great part of our I'm talking like, you know, to the chevra, to this group, and you have to extend it to other groups, to teenage groups, to young people, to the youth of today, a great part of the confusion of just general universal confusion has to do with people, individuals that are not talking our language, that have absolutely, that our language is mamish a foreign language to them, and they do not have any recognition, any awareness of the pull that you were talking about, that you just mentioned. They have no semblance of connecting to the pull of the soul, of this capacity within them that is greater than the sum total of their parts, because they think the sum total of their parts is the brain, and is their ability to conquer and grab life. They have no stage one introduction, kindergarten introduction into the unbelievable pull that exists within them, whether they know it or not, that is confusing them there is a confusion going on.
Yes, and just quickly, I don't know if I can say the word, shtism. The shtism of the
Very good Yiddish, Mike. Very good Yiddish.
of my grandchildren and myself, in that the joy of the moment when I would get the model rocket ship when I was a little kid, or my dog when he came as a puppy, and trivial, yes, but at the same time, that shtism connecting the soul, the joy of connection, of that internal, everything disappears, and it's just in that newness of the moment that's there. And yes, the triviality to it, but if we can possibly take the sensation of that joy, of that's created by the external circumstance, but transfer it to the direction of the soul. And just as an alchemy, move it, keep the sensation, keep the connection to the soul, and just let the circumstances become more valuable than the insignificant little thing that might have been there.
Mike, absolutely right on. And that capacity, that talent makes for a good parent and a good grandparent. That ability to take what is the pot and to make the child somehow on a subliminal level realize the difference between the pot and the clay, and to create a connection, is the difference between bad parenting or bad grandparenting and good parenting and good grandparenting.
Thank you. We have Sandra and then Crone Goddess, and then we'll see if we have time for repeat questioners.
Okay, I have some very, very short things. Number one, Mike, will you marry me in my next life? Yes? Okay.
Wow,
Okay.
great.
So I, as you know, Rabbi, because I've spoken to about this so many times, I had this upbringing by a father and a booby. And I know that a lot of stuff is the booby stories, but some of it isn't quite clear. I have heard about a prayer because my grandmother said that the soul leaves the body at night and then comes back into the body. And isn't there a Jewish prayer asking, for the safe return of the soul? And the last thing I'm going to say, and just shut up, is that last week or the week before, Molly was talking about blind faith. And I understand what isn't good about blind faith, but I'm going to tell you, I totally have blind faith about nothing else in this world other than I have a soul. That's it.
Okay, hold on one sec. Sandy, our discussion today about assisting to discover for ourselves our own higher selves, the soul, will, if successfully done, will absolutely make your blind faith irrelevant, because you will know it on a, you don't have to have blind faith. You discovered it and you frickin' know it. You know it as revealed as your little pinky You put your pinky up. Is this my pinky or not? Yes, it is. You will discover through self-discovery. You don't need that blind faith becomes irrelevant.
Okay. Okay.
Margot.
Yes, very
Queen
unusual.
goddess, how art?
How art thou, goddess?
I am excellent, beyond excellent. I got this from the Untethered Soul and I brought it back so I can read it again. I want to be the one who sees from back in here somewhere. I look out and I am aware of the events, thoughts, and emotions that pass before me. If I go very deep in the seat of my consciousness, I can get there. And that's what I have to say.
Oh,
That's
great, Margot.
I
I
want to, yeah.
remember when I did the untethered.
Yes.
That's it's great that you're still looking at it because it's a fantastic book. Thank you, Margot.
Thank you. Molly.
Morning, Rabbi. Good morning, everybody.
Hi,
So
Molly.
I'm going to respond to what I meant when last week I spoke. What I meant was I have blind faith in my ability to know my own soul through my love of God and how I believe in Him and self. But it's difficult for us to remember to be strong and humble and to believe all the time when we have all the minutiae coming at us. It's a very, very strong person. And I don't know how many people in this world are so strong. So that's why I think sometimes we come to classes like this just to reinforce what we believe inside our own souls. I believe that, as I said before, we come into this world with a soul, and what we do with it is what we do with it. That's, as you say, the clay. Every person has a soul. Every soul is different and coded differently. And if you respond and respect your own soul, then your life will be relatively okay. That's what I meant by what I said last week.
Got it, Molly. Got it.
Okay. Rabbi Akiva, it's 1:24. I'll give you a wrap up. And if you're not done, if you're done before that, we'll have Shabri because I'm ending the class at 1:30. It's not have the co-host on it, so if I.
Okay.
What does minutia mean?
Okay.
Let me answer in the name of Molly. Minutia is the perfect English word for shtism. It's the little stuff that ought to be discarded, but yet.
Can you open the main Zoom room?
But yet gains our attention so illegitimately.
Should I open before that?
No, because if you open, you'll get into this room. I just want to make sure you
No, no.
yeah,
I
get
know
to
what
log
to
in
do.
and all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
When let me just wrap up. Let me wrap up. When we see ourselves naked of all of our historical garments that have been wrapped around us, when we begin that journey into our own essences and start stripping off those layers upon layers and come down to a very experiential and meditative kind of realization of who, not only who, but what we are. That is when, my friends, that is when we are going to experience, we are going to be at a metaphorical Mount Sinai revelatory, a Mount Sinai revelation, a personal revelation that is going to open up for us the ability of that which cannot be seen will be seen. It is at that point when we hit essence, and that it comes in a very gradual manner. But there will be one point when gradually things in our conscious minds start becoming deeper and deeper, where a flash of revelation is going to come, where you will see something that in the past you were unable to see, that you will hear things that you were in the past unable to hear. And you will know things, you will know it, you will know things that in the past you were unable to know. And the map and the path is da et atzmacha, know yourself, dig into yourself a little deeper, and revelations will come.
Thank you. I see that Debbie is a co-host, so I can leave and Shabri can have her last question, if that's okay with you.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
So I should be able to end without ending the class.
Okay, thank you, Kim. And Kim,